Hello and welcome to whathifi.com. I'm Dominic Dawes and I'm sat here with our features editor, Mr. Simon Lucas.
Hello.
And our senior multimedia journalist, Tom Parsons.
Hello.
And we're here today to talk about this, the January issue of What Hi-Fi Sound Division, which is in the shops now. Now, it's a packed issue this month, but it is, as we have formed a tradition over many years in our January issue, of including a big one-make systems test. And this, in many ways, is the biggest and most wide-ranging one-make systems test that we've ever done, isn't it, Si?
Yeah, well, it is, as you say, it's traditional, but in a stunning break from tradition this time, we've included sources other than CD players. We've got there are 8 systems in total. 3 of them are based around CD players, but there are a couple of digital streamers, and 3 turntables as well, because as we've been saying for a while, you know, vinyl's not dead. It's not even, you know, up off the ropes now as well.
Yes, indeed. And it shows, I think this test really illustrates the fact that now, when it comes to sources for music, the market's really fragmented.
Yeah.
And really, in a sense, there's just more choice than ever.
Well, that's right. All bets are off now. You can, if you want to go down the traditionalist route, buy the cheapest system there is based around a record player. Digital streamers are becoming more affordable now and more mainstream, and of course CD players, plenty of life in CD players, even 30 years after their first appearance.
And so how did the digital streamers do?
Streamers did fine. We had 2. We had a Rotel, which goes for about £700, RDG 1520, and then further up the scale there's a Lin DS Magic, which is about £1,500 worth, I think. Both very worthwhile. The Lin will stream the very highest resolution sources, as you would expect from a company like Lin, who have a record label dedicated to turning out the most beautifully recorded material. And the Rotel, which isn't quite as sophisticated but is about half the price, is very impressive as well. It's a good punchy up and atom sort of sound. It's got good internet radio access, USB on the front for your iPod or whatever, and streams faultlessly.
And just briefly, what was the favourite system of them all?
Of them all, the most expensive was the favourite. Yeah, that was my favourite, which is a Cyrus system, built around CD transport amplifier with DAC. I must mention that that's the 8XPDQX, which you'd buy something else in the shop, wouldn't you? Rather than put yourself through that. I did come in for the Cyrus, but I couldn't ask for it, so I went home with something different. And that's with a pair of Vienna Acoustics Beethoven Baby Grands, which we first tested. Well, we actually put in Temptations in the December issue, gave 4 stars to, picked a few holes in the treble response. Got another pair for this test and found that they sounded entirely different at the top end. Spoke to Vienna Acoustics, established that the ones that they sent us at first had a problem with the tweeters, and so we've given those 5 stars in this test because they're excellent speakers and nothing like as flawed in the treble as we may at first have led you to believe. Yeah,
and also sound particularly good in that system.
And the synergy between those 3 bits of kit is excellent.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. And there's loads more in the issue, of course, as well. As you'd expect, we've got some really good TV reviews, including a super test of 32-inch sets at some very, very reasonable prices, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, as we say on the front cover, I think the cheapest one in the test is £349, and they go up from there. And these tellies, because we've got so many of them, we can afford to have a fairly broad range of prices. And these tellies are all, in one way or another, going against the Panasonic L32 D25 award winner. So yeah, an interesting one. I think 32 inches is still the nation's favourite screen size.
Yep, just about.
Yeah, I think it's sort of going up a little bit, but that's still very, very popular. So it's one of those classic super tests.
Yeah. And also the other thing we've got, which is really interesting TV-wise, is something quite special in first tests.
Yeah, it's about as far away from a standard 32-inch flat screen as you can get, isn't it? It's the 21.9, the second generation of Philips 21.9 sets.
Yeah. So
obviously has a much wider
so super wide screen. Yeah.
Yeah, super wide screen. So it's designed for basically sort of CinemaScope movies. You get rid of the black bars at the top and bottom. And you watch it in that way and it's absolutely spectacular. I mean, it's just an amazing way to watch these things. The problem caveats, it's hard to decide really, is that if you're watching normal 16:9 material, whether you're playing a game or watching normal TV, it's to fill that screen it has to be stretched at least around the edges and cropped a little at the top and bottom. You know, there are various modes for doing that, but all of them involve some kind of stretching or cropping.
Yeah.
Or you have black bars left and right. and it's kind of you kind of pick where do you want your black bars, and so it's not perfect for everything. But if you're a serial movie watcher, it's in a lot of ways a great bit of kit. Motion was a bit better.
Yeah. And 3D, of course, now.
And it is 3D. This is the first 21 that is 3D, and its 3D is very impressive. It's I think Philips 3D stuff's looking very good, but they've had their motion processing hasn't been great this year, which is a real shame.
Yeah. Still won't fit a high def tuner though, will they?
High def tuners,
stubborn.
Yeah, I think they've. I get the feeling they're regretting that a bit. That's the only major manufacturer to have not adopted Freeview HD this year.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that won't be the case next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing, if you get the 21.9, is you really need one of their own Blu-ray players, because otherwise you'll lose your subtitles. Or at least
of course,
have to use a nasty processing mode in order to get them back on the screen. So.
Now, of course, we also have some pretty stonking new products in the way of speakers, including a brand new set of style speakers from Cambridge Audio. But before we talk about that, just briefly get on to a quite impressive return to form from Kef.
Indeed.
Yeah, new Q series from Kef, the 8th generation of Q speakers, and they've gone back to a square box. For a good while they were making these extremely elegant curved cabinets. I don't know if it's economies that means that they're square now, but you do get a much bigger volume from a square cabinet. It just doesn't look quite as nice. Q300s are what we've done, the first one of the new range that we've had, and they're really impressive. They're quite big for a stand mounter, even at 450 quid, but they're quite good looking. They're very nicely finished. And they're really, really impressive sound.
I mean, they use that UniQ driver, but
yeah,
it's been
that's right.
very heavily revamped.
Well, they did the concept blade things that we covered on the website, I think, which were just preposterous. High-end speakers, really outlandish. But they've taken, almost directly taken that UniQ technology from there and fitted that to a £450 speaker. So, it wasn't all in vain. Yeah. So that's been completely reworked. You've got really linear response from the very bottom of the frequency range to the very top. Dynamically, they're absolutely impeccable. Particularly if you like things like classical music, where the shifts from very quiet to very loud are, that's a wide gap.
Yes.
Kef's just deal with that as if it really wasn't any effort at all.
Yeah,
They're very impressive. The rest of the range now, we need to get in contact.
Look forward to hearing them. Yeah, definitely. And then of course we've got these interesting new speakers from Cambridge Audio, the Minx style speaker.
Talking of square speakers,
indeed,
non-square.
This whole new range from Cambridge Audio called Minx, and the basic model is an S10 speaker, which is pretty much 8 centimetres cubed. We've got the model up from that, the £800 5.1 package, which essentially looks like two of those on top of it. Each speaker is two of those combined, basically. And yeah, I mean, it's for the size. I mean, we are talking very, very small speakers here. They shift a serious amount of air. They really sound big and open. They're not quite perfect. They're a little bit trebly for us, I think. But I mean, for the price and for the size, they're extremely impressive. Great for smaller rooms, and at that price as well. I'm really interested to see the cheaper version, the one that uses the S10 Cube speaker. It's £500 for a 5.1 system from Cambridge Audio. That's pretty exciting for a lot of people.
You're right. You see, between the looks and the dimensions of that, I think people are going to forgive them quite a lot, to be honest. Yeah. I think they're actually better than they actually needed to be in order to sell, because they do just look the part.
Yeah, they do, that's true. And there's loads more in the issue besides. We've got a test of 3D Blu-ray players. We've got a whole range of really nice Temptation high-end reviews, including the B&W 800 series speakers. And also we've got a nice little test of, dare I say it?
Say it, dare.
Figure of 8 mains cables.
Come on, this is what they've been waiting for. It's only on one page, which I think is disappointing.
Yes, well, if you want to improve the performance of your Sky HD box for just £40 and give it really visible improvements,
right.
There's a product in there that you can buy which will do it for you, believe it or not.
No, believe it, it's true. £40 improves your Sky HD box, it's true. Even if you are spending on a mains cable.
But anyway, so there's all that and more in the issue, so if you haven't already got a copy, go out and buy it now, and we'll be back again next month to tell you about the next issue right here on whathifi.com.